Welcome back to the programme. Let's get a reminder now of our top stories here on Euronews this hour. More evacuations are planned from Ukraine's Azovstal steel plant as Russian forces continue to heavily bombard the site. The mayor of Mariupol believes there are around 200 civilians still holed up within the facility's sprawling underground tunnels. All across the UK, people have been making clear their feelings about the country's cost of living crisis in local and mayoral elections. Results from Wales and Scotland will be in later, but a picture is emerging from England. And let's speak more now to our reporter Victoria Smith to tell us what it all means. Victoria, the ruling Conservatives were expected to be completely turned over. We've spoken in the past a lot about the anger that people have been feeling over various scandals. Is that what's happened?
Morning, Tokes. Well, certainly a bit of a bloody nose for Boris from London, where 40% of the seats are being contested. We still have around half the number of results coming in from across the country. But here in London, there is a clear picture emerging now with some very big government losses, particularly in really key seats like Westminster, Wandsworth and Barnet. Now, Westminster, of course, has been in Tory control for some 58 years. This is the heart of government, the seat of Parliament, and that has gone Labour's way, as has Wandsworth, which has been under Conservative control for some 44 years. Barnet, too, that's an important gain for Labour because that perhaps implies that this is a seat with a large Jewish constituency, and that does show that Keir Starmer has made some gains in winning back the favour of the Jewish community. But Tokes, outside of London, we're seeing a different picture emerging. Obviously, still plenty of seats, results will be coming in throughout the day, but those crucial red wall seats in the Midlands and the North, they're still going the Conservatives' way. The government's still hanging on to key areas such as Sunderland, Tyneside and Hartlepool, which Labour was desperately hoping to win back. Labour has made some gains. I think we'll see that both parties will claim some kind of victory, but it may not be enough for Labour to have made the kind of dent they really wanted to make. Why? Possibly because of Brexit. That Brexit effect is still very much in evidence here, particularly in those northern seats, those areas that voted Leave, still showing Conservative support. Other areas, perhaps with a high proportion of university graduates, are going Labour's way. So it looks as if we've got a bit of a north-south divide at the moment. But for Boris, those key seats in London not looking as if they're going his way. And I should mention as well, Tokes, that the Liberal Democrats are making a good deal of ground in these local elections. They've gained 57 council seats at the moment, and the Greens are also nibbling at the edges. So it's going to be an interesting day of results, but a clear message from London to the government: you're not doing well enough.
Northern Ireland also held elections yesterday for the Stormont Assembly, with pre-election polls predicting a possible historic victory for nationalist Sinn Féin. Euronews reporter Ken Murray has the latest now from Belfast.
After Thursday's local elections in England, Scotland and Wales, early English poll results suggest that the ruling Conservative Party has lost seats, including the London seat of Wandsworth, which has gone to the opposition Labour Party. The night has been a mixed bag so far for Labour, which has made only modest gains and lost their former stronghold of Hull to the Liberal Democrats. Vote counting in Scotland and Wales starts this morning. Northern Ireland also held elections yesterday for the Stormont Assembly, with pre-election polls predicting a possible historic victory for nationalist Sinn Féin. Euronews reporter Ken Murray has the latest from Belfast.
The counting of votes in the Northern Ireland Assembly election gets underway here later this morning, but the outcome of this election is being deemed as the most important ever in 100 years, because since 1921, when the British divided the island of Ireland, Northern Ireland has remained under British rule because the majority of the population here in Northern Ireland are Protestant. Their loyalty is to the Crown in London. But what's been happening over the last 20 years is that the Catholic numbers have increased significantly. So much so that when the last census was published here in Northern Ireland, it revealed that the gap between the number of pro-British Unionist Protestants and pro-Irish Catholic nationalists had narrowed to 3%. And We now have a situation whereby Sinn Féin are on the verge of becoming the biggest political bloc in this parliament. Assuming Sinn Féin win the most seats, it's likely that the call for a referendum to unify the island of Ireland will increase significantly in the coming months, because under the terms of the 1998 British-Irish Peace Agreement, it states quite clearly that there will be no change in the status of Northern Ireland unless the majority of people say so. And we appear to be approaching a time when that moment is close at hand. But the outcome should be known in the coming hours. This is Ken Murray for Euronews, Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Following lengthy talks, France's Socialist Party, the PSF, has ratified a proposal to join a left-wing coalition led by Jean-Luc Mélenchon of France Insoumise, or France Unbowed. The PSF announced the news on Twitter in the early hours of Friday morning. The development is a tactical move and comes ahead of parliamentary elections in June. Because the left can only win when it's united. People know it. They tell us so. The idea of the coalition is to put the brakes on what the left sees as President Macron's pro-business agenda. I think it's a way to say we need enough left-wing elected politicians to balance the elections and to oblige Emmanuel Macron, because he's been elected, to take into account the demands of a large section of the opposition. I think it's a good thing, but I don't really believe it will be a success. It seems too complicated. Around 60% of the Socialist Party's National Council voted in favour of joining the coalition, but having performed so poorly in the presidential election, it may be their only hope of survival.
Dancers from Ukraine who saw their lives turned upside down when Russia invaded have now found new hope at the Spanish National Dance Company.
The theatre management told us from one day to another that all performances were cancelled and many people started to leave Ukraine. A month after that, they told us that classes were back on, but there weren't enough people left in Ukraine to do them.
Not only have they been accepted into the dance company, but their Ukrainian pianist has helped with everything they needed to get settled in.
I've helped with their paperwork, getting public transport and social security cards so they can go to the doctor. One girl even had problems with her teeth, so I had to find a dentist to help her for free.
Victoria was also in Kyiv when the war started. She knows how hard things are.
7 Ukrainian dancers are here thanks to the Emerging Talent programme, which seeks to attract international and national students in their final years of dance studies. 3 of them will also perform Giselle at the Teatro Real in Madrid in mid-May.
But to the director of the company, it's extremely important that the public knows their participation is not an act of charity.
Their participation is based on artistic criteria, and we are also opening our arms to them. It's not just about opening our arms. Putting them on stage is our responsibility to the public, to this great theatre, to this company and to dance in Spain.
After a beginning marked by sadness, fellow dancers and the management team have made them feel at home.
I feel comfortable. I'm very grateful for this opportunity from the ballet company, so it's perfect.
It's bonds with fellow Spanish dancers that help them to make it to Madrid, bonds that are only getting stronger.
That's it for now, but don't forget we're here throughout the day bringing you the latest on stories in Europe and beyond our borders. Don't forget you can stay in touch with us via social media and check out our website euronews.com too.